Welcome, Emile, to my program. Hey.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Welcome, man.
Right, some manly kisses right there.
Yeah. What did you do at home before I started traveling? Like, what were you doing there?
So I finished my studies about a year ago. Then I felt like, okay, I should find a job.
Okay.
But actually, I don't think I really wanted to find a job.
How did you start traveling? First experience that you said, okay, I like this.
Oh, whoa. I have to go way back, I think, because no, they're actually, well, they were living in Japan first, so I was born there. Moved to London where my brother was born. Moved to Holland where my sister was born, and then to Belgium.
So you did all that way?
Yeah, but most of it was pretty young. Like Holland, we were for 8 years, and London for 3, and Japan for 1, more or less. So the rest of the time, all in Belgium.
Okay.
Yes, somehow it must add up to 27 years. I think the math is correct over there, but. When I was in elementary school in the Netherlands, it was an international school. So there were people there from Taiwan, from Hungary, from Portugal, Brazil, from the US, from England, wherever. And we would have like this 1 week a year where we'd celebrate a certain country. We'd be like, this week is Korea week, and all kinds of cultural events happened. And we'd have 1 day a year, which was like a fair where all the parents would come and cook their traditional food. And it just, having kind of grown up in that kind of school, made me feel international. And wherever people from different countries came together, was where I kind of felt like, oh, this is my home. Because if you get used to a certain thing as a kid, then that's what you're used to, and then that feels good. Later, we went to Belgium, and that was a school with only Belgian people, and you were like kind of the one exotic foreign person with a weird accent, right? That was kind of a whole different experience. Also good to kind of see like.
How did that play for you?
In the beginning, it was pretty hard and not all too nice. It was like kind of the outsider and that Asian kid, and I always felt like I want to go back to international school, and it took a while to accept it because I was kind of, I was holding on to the past too much, I think, and didn't adapt to the new situation.
So that is your first traveling experience, like being in that international school. Yeah, I imagine it a little bit, correct me if I'm wrong, but a little bit like a hostel. Like you have people from all sort of places there in the same place sharing a living space.
I guess. Yeah, it's like a hostel kind of stretched out in time, because also people would, a lot of expats arrived with their kids and then they would be there for 3 years and then move on. We were really good friends and then they left and you were sad. Well, you kind of got used to that. And yeah, a lot of people from different places sharing. And I always felt like, oh, I want to do an Erasmus experience because that's the international vibe, and I want to get back into that kind of circuit. Because I was still thinking like, oh, back in elementary school, I was kind of keeping that flame alive, like this is who I am, like I feel good international.
Still there's something, and still some of the flame.
Yeah, it's burning low maybe, but it's still there. So then in university after a few years, then I got to go on Erasmus to Portugal, and then a year later to Brazil. Erasmus in Portugal was really cool. It was like a lot of meeting people from all different countries, but I was still kind of in this kind of searching phase. So it was also a bit of a turbulent time.
So the flame, we can say that it started
burning
again.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then coming back to Belgium, then I kind of also kept working with Erasmus students, like welcoming them to my city in Belgium and organizing activities. It was a lot of fun, and it was kind of like being on Erasmus in your own city. And so kind of, I guess the flame like kept burning brighter and brighter. And then we got to go to Brazil. It was in our masters, also for like half a year, and that was really amazing because then it was yet another kind of different setting. my thesis research in Uganda, which was collecting data in the field in Uganda, so go measuring banana plants. Then I went to Tanzania for an exchange, and that was even crazier because then, like...
Okay, so Uganda and then exchange to Tanzania.
Oh, well, internship, I guess.
Internship.
Yeah, so I finished my studies and then thought like, okay, I don't want to start working right away, I want to get some experience. Start asking about it and you realize like, holy shit, my mom did a trip in China when she was like 22, all by herself, and China was just like opening up. It was like communist China that was opening up to the outside world for the first time, and she did this whole trip through China by herself. And the progression seems to be like, you finish your studies, you get a job, and then you get a stable relationship, you get married, you get kids, you retire, and then you're dead. And
like the typical system.
Yeah. And I felt like, well, does it have to be that way? And the more you travel, the more you see, the more different people you see, the more you see that people are actually kind of the same.
Yeah.
That the differences, there are of course cultural differences and everything, but like at the end of the day, people just want to have a roof above their heads. They just want to have some nice hot food in their belly, a warm and loving family or community.
People is mainly warm people. For example, when you are hitchhiking, they don't pick you up. No, not because they want you to die there, you know, because they are afraid that you could be a bad guy, or
That's
because
exactly,
they are in a rush, or you know, like.
Yeah, I'm sure not everybody who passes you by is like, oh, hitchhiker, I hope he fucks off and dies. And like, okay. I'm glad that I think humanity is still a few steps above that. Just kind of like clearing your mind, focusing on your breath, and trying to think about nothing.
That's interesting. Would you say that helps to something?
And if you can kind of separate yourself from that thought, then you can also kind of exert some control over it, or be more stable, or when some kind of wave of emotion arrives, you can be like, whoa, but wait, where does this come from, and why is this happening, and is this really what I want to feel? That's what meditation does for me, I think. But I think for everyone it does something. When you're kind of creating habits, new habits, then what I often tend to do is set really ambitious goals and be like, I'm gonna meditate for 20 minutes every day, in the morning and in the evening, and then you do it maybe for a week, but after that you get tired, and then you get disappointed because you don't do it, and then you can give up on it. If you want to start a habit, start really small, like absurdly small, like start by meditating 30 seconds a day, and then go up to a minute, and then a minute and a half, and after like a month you can try 2 minutes or something, but just do it consistently, like make it easy enough that you can just do it. And they were all like, oh, you're mixed, right? Or you have some white in you. And I was like, oh what? I thought I was Asian, but now I'm white. And then kind of like more questions started popping up of like, but what is it now? Like, is it one or the other, or what am I really? And that's good because after a while, as you get older, then you kind of feel like, all this partying all week long is getting, so you want to like contribute something to the world as well. It's always a question like, is it a good progression to go towards more homogeneity and more like a kind of globalized society, or do you want the tribes to preserve their diversity because they also have these unique cultures, you know what I mean? It's like, if you look at it at a world scale, it's like, do you want everybody to become like kind of this, I don't know, like more like westernized kind of global culture? That's the interesting thing. That's the question as a traveler that you have to ask yourself as well, is that, oh, it's so nice, the typical Catalan food here, or the typical architecture, blah blah. And then you think like, but what about in Belgium? Like, okay, we have beer and we have chocolate, we have our typical things, but what do I actually know about my own culture or the place where I live? And then you think, oh, I should learn more about that actually, because...
But personally, I know about beer and chocolate. Tell me much more.
Yes, I don't even know much more than you do about my own place. So that's the thing, like, it's definitely something I want to do more is get to know my own place a bit more, and the history and culture and everything. Otherwise, it risks, if people don't remember that kind of thing, it risks becoming kind of like a bland, kind of globalized. But I mean, I'm all for the mixing of cultures, but I also think...
You were saying about mixing of cultures, but still keeping your own identity.
Yeah, I'm definitely not against mixing, because like,
You're a mixer.
I'm a product of that. But I also think that we need to be careful to not like let too much of the cultural diversity that there is in the world. Just like everything, it's a balance, you know. Like mixing is cool, but then like you also don't need to be like, oh no, I'm just gonna be in my island with my own culture, and like people are seeing like, holy shit, all this globalization is coming in, and what about my culture? Like who's fighting for that? And then they look around and it's like, oh yeah, these extreme right-wing people. So okay, and
okay, so several questions here. Do you think that identity loss is real?
I think it's real. Yeah, I think like a lot of people feel a little frightened that like, oh no, this is because there's loads of changes, not only cultural changes going on, but also technological changes.
Yeah.
Like religion is in some parts of the world is dying down, other parts is growing. If you go back 200 years, then during the lifetime of a person, some changes may have happened, but nothing else crazy. I mean, what a crazy change in just 10 years' time, and it keeps going faster. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and it manifests itself in different ways, and people hold on to what they know more, and they're like, okay, it's enough change now, like, fuck it, no more new things. We're just gonna, or we're gonna go back to how it was before because then it was better. When we were kids, actually, my dad used to do meditation with my brother and sister and I. Put on like some music of like streams in the mountains and like water, and then there was one meditation where he would say like, just imagine that you're a tree, and then imagine your roots going down to the earth and like sucking up all the good nutrients and energy and the strong power of the dark earth. And then imagine leaves up in the sun, like absorbing the warm sunlight, and also the energies mingling inside you. And you've got the stability of your roots and this kind of like more aspirational energy of your roots in the sun. Yeah, so it was cool. Did ayahuasca, which is sick.
I have heard about it. Yeah. Tell us about the experience. How was that?
I think it's first of all, I should say for everybody it's probably different. Like everybody has their own ayahuasca experience. But what it was for me was like really, it starts working and then you kind of go on this emotional roller coaster and you get really intuitive and your kind of rational mind falls away and you just feel things and you, for example, you think of people like I thought of my mother and father, and I was like, oh, this is what I feel for them. And this is, it's immediately clear. You can also kind of guide, like it's not like an uncontrolled trip. You can kind of think.
You can guide this.
Depends how strong the dose is as well. But you can kind of think like thoughts will pop up, and you're like, I was just asking myself a lot of questions like who are we? Are we just ourselves, or are we also defined by the people we have interactions with, and is it the inside of ourselves or the outside world that defines us, and all kinds of like deep shit. But what I still really remember from ayahuasca that really helped was like it kind of got rid of some kind of internal shame that I had of like showing yourself, like dancing and expressing yourself and making music and this kind of thing. Images would pop up of like, oh, myself dancing, and then immediately my reflexive reaction was like, oh, I'm ashamed of this and I shouldn't do this. But then with ayahuasca, then it kind of like managed to got me over the hill of like thinking, wait, maybe this is not something to be ashamed of. Like, you could just dance and people can watch and fuck it, like who cares? Just do it. I think the whole like the ayahuasca and the whole like positivity of people that kind of helped to learn how to express myself better. So I think that was a kind of a self-discovery, liberating kind of exchange. I didn't study that much there, but helped a lot. But also being in Brazil and like the Brazilian friends over there, were really kind of positive, and were these kind of people who were like, you know, if all the people here are having fun, then I'm happy. Like I just want the group here, the party here to be good and the group to have fun.
Yeah.
But they were just teaching me techniques without trying to show how good they were, or being like, oh look, I'm much better than you. But they were just like, no man, I honestly just want you to learn and to be good at this stuff. And if you're good at that stuff, then I am also happy. My thesis research in Uganda, which was
thesis research for a master.
For a master's thesis. So it was like collecting data in the field in Uganda. So go measuring banana plants and farmers, and it was.
Okay, can you explain that further? Measuring banana plants.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about my thesis research, or?
In one sentence, if you can tell.
Being in the field with these farmers.
Yeah.
Was like traveling back in time.
Traveling back in time. That's a really good sentence.
Because, like apart from the technology and all like that kind of thing, I mean, of course, people had mobile phones.
Yeah.
It was also kind of the village mentality, but also it was people who were like, I'm a farmer and this is what I'll do, and no questions asked. My father was a farmer. I'll be a farmer. My son will be a farmer, and that's how it's going to be.
So they didn't question that.
Maybe the young people wanted to go to the city and wanted to be a motorcycle driver or wanted to start a business. And then there were whole communities that were also living in very basic conditions, and you thought like, wow, here I am with all these opportunities. They were always like kind of pushing me to be more open-minded and because they were open-minded themselves.
Like go and see the world, meet people,
go
out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's kind of what they did themselves. As you get older, then you kind of feel like, all this partying. So you want to like contribute something to the world as well. My job was kind of to take all the local knowledge and techniques that they were using and kind of put it in a more in like a format that you could share with people, like
so kind of a booklet that you could share.
Yeah, and that would form the basis for them like making videos and making flyers and doing training sessions and things. When I started hiking the mountains, then my old shoes broke, so I had to buy new shoes. But the new shoes were like really tight and rigid, so I got these nasty blisters on the first day. I also kind of hurt my ribs while canyoning because I fell in the water in the wrong way, 12 meters up, and just like splashed into the water like a beef steak slapping the water. And these were hurting, and my bag I packed way too much food. The bag was like 20 kilos or more, I don't know. So the first days were really like painful. That wasn't so fun, but I'm gonna get through it. You need to set yourself challenges and you need to overcome them. In many cultures there's this kind of like ritual becoming a man or an adult, and that it's all like some Native American culture that sends you off into the desert. Go in the desert for a week and climb to that mountain and then come back and tell us what you saw. These kind of challenges that are hard, but you kind of pass through them.
And you think that is good for you as a human being?
I think it's good to test yourself every now and then, and to because life isn't all about easy things. You need to be able to solve problems, and to have the confidence to do that. And how you gain that is by testing yourself and coming out on top, or at least surviving it more or less intact. Yeah, I find that also like a physical pain is much more straightforward to overcome because you're just like, I have blisters. Okay, I'm gonna take it in my feet.
And you keep walking.
They're very straightforward, but like the mental blockages are much harder to kind of, because first of all, it's hard to figure out what's actually going on in your head.
Yeah.
And then how do you deal with it? Say that there's a rock in your path, you push the rock to the side, and you can keep walking. But if there's like a mental thing,
like a rock.
Is there a rock in your mind, that's blocking you, or where is the rock and how do I move it? And like it's in my mind, is it even real? Should this be blocking me so much? Is it a real problem?
Pain is part of the experience.
Yes, the pain. Yeah, like your.
Oh
crazy
fuck it,
wound
yeah,
there,
we haven't talked about this, but
Yeah.
this hurts as fuck.
Should have seen this guy at a tapas restaurant putting lemons on it to kind of disinfect it.
Oh, yeah.
But still, the pain is good.
How did you get here?
Okay.
We did a great path, but we didn't get to Barcelona. I can tell you that.
It was so I got down from the mountains to this kind of highway, which went from France down through a tunnel and south to Spain.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, there's no bus here.
So you walked there like for how many hours? Or
Well, I didn't walk on the highway. I just came down on the mountains, and the highway kind of crosses through them.
okay.
So I arrived there, and then I thought, okay, I need to get to Barcelona somehow. And I knew there was a bus from El Pont de Suert, which is a small town, like 15 kilometers or so, or 30 kilometers further down south. But to get to there, I had to take a bus.
Okay.
I thought I'll hitchhike to El Pont de Suert, but nobody wanted to pick me up because I was I was a brown dude with a walking stick and a giant backpack.
Yeah, like
looking at it dirty.
homeless
Oh,
person.
who wants to pick up this smelly
Dirty
hobo?
homeless.
I was kind of smelly after like 2 weeks. Like it doesn't start smelling bad.
Like a wild pig.
in the forest. So nobody, the first like 20 cars didn't stop. I thought, screw this, I'm just gonna walk to the place.
Okay.
It's not that far anyway. And then I'll take the bus, and then I'll see a bit more of the landscape. And as I was walking, I passed this old couple getting into their car. And I thought, let's ask them if they're going to El Pont de Suert.
Yeah, why not?
And they told me like, oh, we'll take you to El Pont de Suert, but like, what are you doing there? Are you staying in El Pont de Suert for 2 days? And I said, no, I'm taking the bus to Barcelona. I'm like, dude, we're going to Barcelona, come with us. So this old couple ended up driving me all the way to Barcelona.
Nice.
And along the way, they stopped, and we stopped and had lunch, and they paid for my lunch. And they're really super nice. Had an interesting conversation in the car, and these kind of moments give you faith in humanity. You're like, wow, people will do these kind of spontaneous, nice things.
Okay, I don't want to put the finger in the wound, but if you remember their names, this is a great moment.
Yeah, so it's Paco and Silvia.
Paco and Silvia.
Paco and Silvia.
So thank you for bringing these guys safely to Barcelona.
Yeah, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. And if you're in Belgium anytime, then you're definitely welcome to stay in, well, my parents' house.
We're working on
I'm
it.
sure they'll extend the invitation. But in any case, thank you so much, guys. It was really a great moment that made my trip all the more better, and when gives you hope in the future of humanity. So, or water, whatever it is.
Healthy vodka.
Yes, cheers.
Tap vodka.
Welcome, tap in this also.
Yeah.
In the whole of Barcelona, actually. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so you're gonna sleep in a park tonight?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Cool.